Hey, welcome to the PetaPixel Podcast. For expert advice, incredible selection, and the best deals on photo, video, and lighting gear, you go to B&H. B&H is PetaPixel's new gear partner. And for even greater savings at B&H, we recommend the B&H Payboo credit card, which lets you save the tax. You pay the tax and B&H pays you back instantly. Save the tax on eligible purchases shipped to eligible states. Or you can pay over time with our 6 and 12-month financing on minimum purchases of $199 for 6 months or $599 for 12 months. Terms apply. Learn more at bhphoto.com/Payboo. Credit card offers are subject to credit approval. Payboo credit card accounts are issued by Comenity Capital Bank. Wait a second, is this another conventional-looking episode of the PetaPixel Podcast where we're not all in weird locations or sitting side by side with each other at a desk? That. It sure is. We're back home, everybody, and I'm joined today. Oh, I'm Jordan Drake, and I'm joined today by my good friend Jaron Schneider.
Yeah, hello. Hey, hi.
Chris Nichols is also here.
Oh, I'm Chris Nichols.
And you know what? We have had a fair amount of news happening while we were on the road, which we always like to talk about on the PetaPixel Podcast. But as well, we want to touch on if you're buying a new camera, there's all kinds of things that are going to show up if you're on a website some customers also purchased. Or if you're in a camera store, the salesperson's like, what do you mean you're going to leave here without buying blank? So we are going to take a look at all of the different accessories that will be foisted upon you should you purchase a new camera and tell you which ones you need and which ones are disposable. How about that, guys?
We're doing a tiered list. We're finally doing it.
That's popular now. Kids love tiers.
Doing the kids, yeah. So
hierarchy.
Jordan, Chris, and I came up with this list while sitting in the back of an Alphard van.
Yes, my favorite. I want an Alphard.
Yeah, on the way back into Tokyo. So, by the way, love the Alphard. I want an Alphard. Those things are dope.
They're hot, man. Front grill's awesome. Toyota Alfardo.
If we do a PetaPixel production wagon, that's definitely in the running. It's either that or the Nikon. Was it a Land Rover?
Yeah, Land Cruiser. The Nikon Land Cruiser. Yeah. I want the Land Cruiser.
Those are our two top candidates right now.
Don't you dare put that into a junkyard, Nikon. I want it.
Canon could make a fully red Alphard. That would be awesome.
Oh, that'd be
Canon
hot.
on the side, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, with some lettering. Red trim on the seats on the inside.
Yeah, that'd be good. And then they could fight it out. They could race.
I'm sure you have a question, Jordan, but before you ask it, can I first bring up something we posted on Instagram on the day of recording today?
Instagram is on fire, Jaron.
It's a
people are burning it down.
Excellent rage bait that Chris decided he needed to do. The thing is, I don't think he did it with the intention of rage baiting.
Yeah, I don't get this concept of rage bait. I'm not doing it to get likes or anything like that. I legit hate camera straps and I wanted this and I bought it and it's
so
great.
Yeah, we were in what were we, a map camera for that? Was that where we were?
I think that was Yodobashi.
Was it Yodobashi?
That particular one, yes, in Shinjuku. We happened to go in there.
We were just wandering around. I had just spent too much money on Provia 120 film.
Of course.
And it was sitting in my pocket and Chris was like, let's go look at iPhone cases. And we were looking at iPhone cases, none of which he liked. No. And then he got distracted by the straps. And he's like, ooh,
for smartphones, not camera straps. Yeah, smartphone straps.
And he found the chintziest looking one he could.
Single strand of thread, I believe.
And the packaging was all in Japanese, and we didn't bother translating it. We could have. And
it says, warning, do not use with camera.
it just had, the only thing we could see was 10 kg, which he's assuming means how much weight it can hold.
Yeah, I can't read Japanese. I don't know, but 10 kg seems pretty obvious. This thing does not weigh 10 kilograms, okay? So I'm assuming that means that the cord is capable of holding 5 knots worth of camera madness securely. So
and it hasn't broken.
No.
Yet.
No.
Do you like it, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, I switched this out. I first off have this tendency to, well, here, I'll show you on my light. Like these little straps come with everything, right? Like point and shoot cameras and all this kind of stuff, right? I have a habit of changing out camera straps for this, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later in accessories, because I hate having camera straps, even wrist straps I love, but I don't want them around my wrist, and I certainly don't want them to be bulky, sticking off the top of the camera. So I'm always looking for something more minimal. And yeah, this is sweet, dude. Look at
400
that.
I think there's no way to go from here if you're looking for minimal. Like that is as far as you can go. Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I've got anything on my hand. Obviously, I recognize the need for some sort of, secure something so that if you drop it, it doesn't fall on the ground. Because I've done that many times, if you can imagine.
You're really testing the, what's it called? The grip for that M11? The, has already gotten a ding on it?
I did see a comment that was like, what is this, the strength of that eye hole? And it's not the one actually for the camera, right? It's actually on the helium grip from
Helium, thank you.
Yeah. This is Hugh Brownstone's helium grip, and yeah, it's a solid lug. I'm not worried about the lug at all. I wouldn't be worried about a Leica lug either. Yeah, Leica lugs are super strong. I wouldn't worry about that. Yeah, I mean, if anything's going to break, this cord's going to break first. But it would take 10 kilograms of force. I trust the Japanese and their technical abilities. So
that did not come out of Japan. Like I trust
the Chinese and their ability to manufacture quality goods.
That's fine.
So it's 400 yen, bro. That's like
so
$4
cheap.
Canadian. That's like 86 USD.
Those listening, he legitimately did this. It's still on the camera because he used it. He was walking around with this thing.
Yeah, it wasn't a joke. Jaron knows I used this for like a week. This was my
it's still on there, which means you're still using it.
Yeah. Why would I change it? Anyways, look, whatever.
All right. I'm passing it to you. I just wanted that to be cleared up that was not intentionally rage bait. But that is the first thing that Sarah told me when I shared that with her to put on our Instagram. So
yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not deliberately rage bait. Sometimes you just have strong opinions that make people mad.
I think I make people angry all the time. That's all.
Yeah.
I think I'm just.
All right, Jordan. What do you got?
I'm going to keep it brief because we've already discussed the strap, but I want to know, we've been on the road quite a bit. We're all back together in our respective recording spaces, and I want to know, in the room that you're in right now, what was it that made you most delighted to be back home? What is the thing that's like, oh, it's here, finally. I'm like, I'm in my element. I'm totally ready to rock it.
This place is a mess. I came back and I'm like, F this. I got to do something about it. And then I just put everything in piles on the ground.
The piles on the ground. Yes.
Piles on the ground. Your space, Jaron, is like a functional space. Like you can't just leave stuff everywhere, right? Mm-hmm. I've seen Jordan's studio. It might even be worse than mine. Something here that I was like, oh, I'm so glad to be back.
I mean, like a microphone that's not sitting on a jury-rigged boob stand.
I don't know. You tell us what yours. What are you most grateful for?
Yeah, Jordan.
Let me tell you. So while we were on the road there, I was doing a little bit of editing. We had a couple episodes come out while we were out, and I got to do my least favorite thing, which is late night editing on a laptop screen. Which makes me wonder, like, why did I choose this life? What is wrong with me? And now I am back. And I have a big old second monitor that's really nice. My neck is just stretched out, liberated. I'm on a comfy chair with a support cushion behind it. So back problems are a thing of the past. And I'm editing 9 to 5 again. So those are the big things that I'm excited to have back in my life.
He wants to be editing 8 hours a day. That's what brings him joy. Yeah, you all heard it. So
ideally within business hours, better for me.
Nope, I've heard what you want, Jordan. I can provide more work.
Do you seriously think that 8 hours a day would be a reduction or an increase?
Oh man.
JFC.
If we're going to talk about work, I miss this when I'm editing. This is my MX keypad from Logitech.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was a fidget thing, like an ADHD
well, it could
fidget.
be. They're buttons.
Popper. Is that what it is?
The ability to quickly do copy and then paste attributes, copy-paste attributes as 2 buttons as opposed to the crap you have to go through with Premiere with the right-clicking and the rewrite. It's so annoying. And then I can get my tools more quickly, too, because I don't like keyboard shortcuts, but I do like this, if we're going to talk work. But really what I missed was my PlayStation controller, which is over here, and I definitely used that.
I missed nothing. Okay. I missed nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like traveling, so it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah, I
Cool. Chris would rather be back on the road. I can also arrange that.
I don't know.
Yeah. You want to be back on the road, Chris? Perfect. I've got the solution for you.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. All right. A low energy intro. Let's go.
I really missed, actually, guys, was thanking our sponsors on the podcast. And today's episode is brought to you by DxO. We've talked about DxO quite a bit. We even call them our friends. I'd like to think we're friends. And we appreciate them sponsoring today's podcast. They just released Nik Collection 9. This is the latest version of their popular editing suite. People have been using it for like a decade. I mean, Nik's been around forever, so it's not just like a flash in the pan. You know that they're here to stay. They've got great stuff like silver effects, black and white filters, color effects for creative grading, but they've had a huge update recently. So AI-powered masking has now arrived in the Nik plugins. And again, this is where we like AI that makes our life easier, not that steals our creative potential away and costs people jobs. Instead of painting selections by hand, you now point at a subject, draw a box around it, and the AI builds the mask. There's also a really cool AI depth mask that will detect distance from the camera so you can apply effects just to the foreground or just to the background. Runs on your machine locally. There's no like cloud stuff. Your photos aren't going anywhere because, again, we hate that. On the creative side as well, Nik Collection 9 has added a new filter, including halation. So this gives you that sort of soft highlight glow, like film cameras sometimes do this. Certain Leica lenses will do this.
I feel elation for halation.
Elation for halation. Thank you, Jordan. Ricoh have this with their HDF models. It's a fun tool, and it's not something you necessarily want permanently built into your cameras. I like the option to be able to take a photo and try out that soft effect and see if you like it. If you've got friends who are like, hey, we want you to shoot our wedding, but we want it to be like it's 1979, halation filter. You need this, okay? There's also a 3-zone color grading tool, chromatic shift filter for that retro printing press look, glass effect filter with over 50 textures. You can do 18 blending modes, so you can kind of mix them together, change opacity. The basic thing is this: when you buy Nik software, they're constantly updating it. You're going to be always on the cutting edge getting new technology. So it's not stagnant. It's always changing, always getting better. If you want a full breakdown, actually, Michael Bonacore, who's our producer for Trail Camera and is integral to the show, he is writing, or he already wrote, a deep dive on his software. And I really do think you guys should check it out because it's not like a sales pitch. It's actually straight up like a really in-depth tutorial on how to use the software. So if you're interested in doing this, DxO is offering PetaPixel Podcast listeners 15% off any DxO software, not just Nik Collection 9. Use the code PetaPixel at checkout at DxO.com and then read Michael's article. Then you can actually see how to use this and get the most out of it. Check it out. Thank you again to DxO for sponsoring today's podcast.
All righty. Thanks, DxO. Let's get to the news. First thing, I just want to say congratulations to Chris Nichols.
Ooh, thank you.
For the successful sellout in less than a day of the Wotancraft Pilot Collab. We couldn't even talk about it on the podcast because it was gone so fast.
Yeah, I did not expect that. You're making a bag design like this, and I do think it really is one of the best camera bags ever. I mean, I the Pilot series in general, and not to toot my own horn, but the way that I've designed this one, I think it's fantastic. I love it. I use it every day. But you never know, right? How is it going to be received? Will people like it? We built up a little bit of hype on it. Wotancraft sent out some bags to some people that they trust, some influencers and creators they trust, and so did we. None of them even had time to do their reviews on the bag because they sold out right
I texted David Amell over the weekend, and he's like, oh, shoot, I need to do that Wotancraft thing. And I'm like, no, you don't.
No.
It will do no good.
Enjoy the bag.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
I mean, talk about it for sure. I would still appreciate that, but it's not necessary to sell the product because so I'm really grateful because everybody just jumped on board. I did not expect that. I hope you all enjoy it, and I'm sorry for the people that missed it. I know that Wotancraft kind of like to make limited runs and keep them limited, and so that's cool. It keeps it exclusive, but I'm like, can we do another run so that more people can get it? But we'll see. Maybe next year, maybe a new version later on. Who knows? We shall see. But thank you. Big thank you.
It's funny, I was really pushing, you have a new bag. We should do a PetaPixel episode out of it. Thank God we didn't, because it would be coming out after all the bags were sold out and unavailable. So, good work, you two, talking me out of that.
Yeah, I was thinking from the get-go. So when we originally met with Wotancraft on this, they're like, we're going to do a limited launch. I'm like, cool, how many could that be? A couple thousand? When they said 300, I'm like, oh. That seems low, but okay.
Yeah.
It turns out it was low. I'm hoping that they can do more because I also really like the bag. It's over here. And I used it for the first time on an extended trip here the last couple weeks in Tokyo, and was
and
great,
you liked it. And Jared's not the kind of person to mask his opinions for the sake of other people's feelings. So, he really liked it.
Yeah, and I'm not typically a sling bag guy. I'm a backpack guy, but I changed over to the Chris Nichols strategy, which is the sling bag and a roller, like for the airport.
Perfect.
And let me tell you,
that's the Jordan Drake strategy. I got to give Jordan credit. That's actually the Jordan Drake strategy. I was a backpacker for a while, and although I could beat him going up any stairs in an airport 100%, it really hurt my back after a while. And he always carried the roller, and I was like, damn, I'm going to switch over, and I did. So thank you, Jordan, for your old man knowledge.
I got so much roller experience on our last trip, too, dragging 5 bags around a train station. Fun experience, but I'm now nimble. I'm very good at it now.
Also, you've got the ones.
You got trapped in the GR gate 1 or 2 times, though, didn't you? I think
it's really hard if you have your hand on 2 bags to scan your phone to get through the thing, because then you got to scan it. And it's like, do I put the phone down or do I grab the bag with the phone? What if that breaks the screen of the phone? No, it's got to go in the pocket. And the person behind the thing is like, "What's going on over here? What's this guy trying to pull?" And it's like, "No, I'm just trying to get through. I swear to God."
That sounds nimble. Okay, anyway, sorry, keep going.
All right. Well, we'll let you guys know if more Wotancraft shows up as an option, but for now, that is over. Thanks for those who supported it, and we're going to move on and talk about just the most heartwarming story you could possibly imagine.
Oh, this is what I was just talking about. This is the AI we hate.
Yeah, so this happened actually back in April, but it didn't land on anyone's radar until this weekend. So a gallery in New York, they created an AI-generated version of an Ansel Adams photo. So the photo is called Moonrise over Hernandez. It's a relatively well-known image of his. I wouldn't say it's his most well-known. His most well-known stuff is like Yosemite, but
it's in the top 10.
Why they tried,
for sure.
That's probably why they tried to do it. Yeah.
Quite well-known. It is in the public domain. That'll be important in a minute.
But they just did this for giggles, right? They weren't actually trying to sell it off as a piece of art that would take money to acquire. Correct, Jaron? This was just for fun?
No, this was for money.
What?
This was for money. Yeah, they AI generated it, and it's colorized, is what they think the thing is. So it's not a good rendition of this image. I want to point out, just is objectively worse than the original. But they did actually sell these, and the Ansel Adams estate became aware of it, and they put out a statement on Instagram. The trust was not consulted or notified before the work appeared. Once alerted, we reached out to James Danziger. Now this is the Danziger's Gallery, for those who are need some context, in real time, notifying him of the trust's rights and asking for the work to be removed. Correspondence shared with the trust shows that despite our formal notice, Mr. Danziger subsequently leveraged Ansel's name, Moonrise, and the APAD presentation while pursuing a proposed commercial AI colorization venture involving other artists' estates. They said that this is a gross failure of ethical and professional judgment. Before I give you their follow-up, because there is a statement from Danziger that came out yesterday, so it's been yesterday as of we're recording this. So, any thoughts on this so far, either of you? If this is all you knew that happened, because when we published this story, there had been no statement.
I mean, how do I want to say it? Obviously the realm of art is a very dynamic realm, and people have been creating based on, other people's designs for a long time now. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with that. Again, just keep in context. I mean, based on it, right? Whether it's inspired by or you're mimicking a style or whatever. I mean, that's commonplace now. You could be cynical and say that there is no original artwork anymore because everything is just a derivation of something else, right? But
if you said that, it would make me mad. So I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah. But at the same, and so And and of course we have laws in place, and we have rights infringements in place and copyright laws in place to protect people from this. We have for a long time, and this stuff has been debated back and forth, right? And how close is too close, and at what point are you infringing on someone else's creative designer rights? As you say, this photo was in the public domain.
It's in the public domain.
That doesn't necessarily mean you can modify and sell it for money, though, right? I mean, again, I'm not a copyright lawyer, but there are lots of rules and lots of stuff involved.
Technically, they didn't modify it. Technically, they told the
Really?
AI to create a new version of it. That's the thing they. But still, that's okay. So here's the thing. We'll go now.
But while still
Jordan-
saying in the title of the piece, like, this is a version of Ansel Adams' Moonrise. Like, that's
Sure.
the thing.
They used
is
his name,
they're
used the
using it
name of the-
based
yeah.
on the existing artwork, which this is not.
Correct.
Yeah,
It is described as AI generated from the prompt. Make a realistic color version of Ansel Adams' iconic Moonrise over Hernandez. Proofed, regenerated, and photoshopped (lowercase p) from printed by master printer Esteban Mauchi. Editions of 10 and 3 sizes. Yeah.
But that
by the
is,
way,
you know,
anything that happens in the Danziger Gallery, I've looked at past sales. Stuff is typically never listed for less than $10,000.
Yeah. I'm sure this made tons of money, right? And I always wonder, like, who wants to even buy this stuff? I mean, like, AI for sure is, by its nature, the what we call AI right now, by its nature, is based on other people's work, right? A myriad of other people's
true.
work, technology. That's all it is. It's the ultimate form of derivation, right? It's not like artificial intelligence has the ability to spontaneously create new stuff. I mean, everything is based off what it's learned. And you could argue humans are the same way. Who knows? But as an artist in the art realm, I'm always open for people being able to interpret other people's work and being able to create and mimic and parody and satire. I mean, these are all important things. I'm not like 100% against mimicking someone else's work, again, in context, okay? Being inspired by it or using it in some way for your own work or adding something to it. But yeah, this just, I mean, if anything, it's incredibly low-hanging fruit. I don't know why anybody would support it or condone it. Like, it's just sad. It's sad.
Follow up.
Yeah, so there was a follow-up. The gallery owner issued a public press release and said, basically, in short, I had every right to do this, so I did. And it's like, all right, okay. He says, I had long believed the image was in the public domain, but to confirm this beyond doubt, I hired one of the most respected copyright lawyers in the country to ensure this was the case. By the way, the word ensure was the wrong ensure. He used the I-ensure, not the E-ensure.
Look, he's an artist, not an editor-in-chief, Jaron. You're holding this person to a high standard they cannot actually
Jaron,
reach.
maybe subconsciously he was more concerned about insurance claims than he was ensuring something to be accurate.
Grammarly is free. It was indeed
like,
confirmed
will I be sued?
It was indeed confirmed to be in the public domain, and I was free to create a transformative color rendition of the image and exhibit and sell the resulting prints. You know what? True.
Well, again, I mean, look, you can't judge people on what they want to do as far as artistic creation goes. What you can do is judge them on, like, is this even good art in the first place? Yeah, is this the right thing to do? Is this a proper thing to do? And hopefully, you would expect that people would then show their opinion by failing to support this. But I guess it sounds like he's selling some of this work, and it, it's like that brings him another thing. And this is different. I don't want to crap on this. It's like, in the art world, we always have to be accepting of new trends and new ideas. Absolutely. You can't just be like, oh, in my day, blah, blah, blah. As much as you want to shout at the sky, that's not always the right approach, right? We saw this with digital. People said the same thing about digital photography when it came out. Oh, this is ruining the art form. This is a toy. This is garbage. And that's clearly not the case. So, AI artwork is going to start really happening now. That's why we're discussing this. These are important things to talk about. AI-based artwork, I mean, is it valid, right? As artwork? Is it valid as artwork? I don't like the concept. I don't think putting in a prompt and then having something else creates it is valid personally, but that doesn't mean it's not in the eye of the public art community.
I think Yeah, I think so. I think the thing here is it's going to be up to, like, nobody who listens to this podcast is going to go buy an AI prompted version of Ansel Adams' work. But I think it's also important, like, look, this gallery is now on record as supporting this kind of thing. If you are a photographer who potentially could have their stuff shown in a gallery, don't exhibit it in galleries. If you feel very strongly like that this is morally reprehensible, as I do, then I wouldn't put my work up there. And I think we can really kind of make a clear distinction between the galleries who are like, oh, this is acceptable art, and the clients who are interested in that, and other people. I think that's kind of the only way going forward, because we're going to see more and more of this, and it's going to keep moving, even though it sucks. But one other thing I think is worth pointing out, it's hilarious. I don't want to spoil a future episode coming up, but we are directly in communication with people whose livelihood depends on Ansel Adams' artwork. So, yeah, this is kind of crazy from that perspective as well, for us personally.
Yeah. I mean, basically all it did was take this black and white photo and turn it color. And
that's what the AI did. Yeah, the prompt essentially went and took it. Just did it.
Like, it's the same composition and everything. Like,
it's not good in my opinion.
I'd be pissed. Yeah, I think it's sad, and I think it's low hanging fruit, and I don't agree with it. But I guess what I'm trying to get across is, if you as a person go in and use an AI prompt to make a piece of artwork and then you sell that artwork, if people want to buy it, I think that's fair game. Doesn't mean I like it. I really don't think it takes much skill on the part of the person doing it, which is really sad. But then I feel like, yes, it's valid, but then people just shouldn't buy it because they don't respect it. And then for that person should stop doing it. If we start buying this stuff, we start buying into this stuff, then that's a really yucky slope. Like, why would anybody want to have this? I don't understand why anybody would want to take an image that's a known image with the exact same composition, turn it color, and buy that, knowing that, like, AI just did that basically for him. I don't know. It's why would you want to own that? Where's the significance in that? It's awful. There's no street cred there, man. There's no street cred.
Also discussed in the Toyota Alphard, Jordan and I talked about Canon's segmentation. And it was actually partially in because I knew this story was being written, and I was curious what Jordan's thoughts were on it. Jeremy wrote a story over the weekend where he says he fundamentally disagrees with Canon building a wall between its V and C series cameras. And I wanted to get your thoughts on this, Jordan. What do you think about this? And it's kind of linked directly to the whole R6 series now, since that camera is now 3 cameras that are very similar to each other with minor differences that are somewhat annoying.
Yeah, initially when I saw the announcement and everything like that, I was saying, you were all there. I was like, this is way too much overlap. This is going to be so confusing. And then I realized this is not a new and innovative thing Canon is doing. This is exactly Sony's structure with the ZV-E1, the A7S III, and the FX3, which are all the same chip in 3 slightly different bodies with basically it breaks down almost exactly the same way as what Canon is doing here, except that the FX3 has stabilization. So to a degree, I don't know if we can just throw all the blame at Canon for this, but it is very frustrating if you're looking to grab one of these as a hybrid tool. There's always compromise on every model, which is definitely going to be frustrating for a lot of people. Yeah. So I think it's just our job, when we're looking at these, less to actually review the cameras individually. Like the back half of our entire R6V video was just, look, here's how it breaks down compared to the other ones. You have to choose what's right for you. But yeah, it's going to be frustrating if people are like, oh, I want the vloggy camera, and it turns out they also really wanted to shoot stills with it, things like that, and find out there's real compromises there. We just kind of have to give people the heads up that it's going on. But yeah, it's not unique to Canon at this point.
Do you seem to indicate that you believed, I don't know if this was something you were told, or if you just believe this, that Canon...
I blindly believe everything I'm told, Jaron, which makes me a terrible journalist.
It's true. So I'm curious who told you this then. The difference between like the still camera operating system and the Cine camera operating system, and how there are features you think that are locked to one or the other. And so if you don't use that operating system, you don't get those features.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my suspicion based on, some of the stuff not carrying over. Like for the longest time, waveform was kept completely separate onto the Pro interface. And I bet they had to rebuild that from scratch when they finally brought it into the consumer cameras, like the R5 II and things like that. But I think it's completely separate R&D going on both of those, which is why we see like a very consumer-friendly function like hybrid vertical and horizontal recording just on the Pro camera. Because I think they were like, is it worth the R&D for us to rebuild this effectively in a whole new interface on the consumer cameras? And they might have decided that's not worth it, or it was going to take too much time, because they've launched all these cameras kind of boom, 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 very rapidly.
Very rapidly.
There's not going to be a lot of time to really finesse them. It's like, what's in the parts bin, which different cases can we get it in? So no, I think it's confusing for consumers. That's our job to help with that. But yeah, to single Canon out for this, when I think they're just like years behind trying to catch up with what Sony did with the FX3. And I think that's also what Nikon's doing to a degree with the ZR. Like, I think everyone is chasing that compact, production-ready camera right now.
Yeah. No, makes sense. I agree with Jeremy, though. I don't love the segmentation. It feels unnecessary. And if it is true that their two software development groups are that siloed, that feels also weird to me. Like the resources could be better spent.
Yeah, but remember Canon, we did have a conversation with them, and they have talked about how their teams have been siloed to some degree, and they're trying to integrate that better. But I mean, like everybody has done market segmentation, but Canon has in particular, and not out of no fault of their own, has really been at the forefront of taking the brunt of those criticisms, right? I mean, people have been saying things about their products for now a long time. We've talked about product segmentation being quite heavy in the Canon universe for many, many years. So although everybody does it to some degree, Canon has always been particularly egregious with violating that, I get how it's annoying for consumers. Absolutely. And at the same time, they sell really well. So maybe they understand that a lot of consumers like being segmented, or like feeling like, I'm the kind of person for this camera, as opposed to having the versatility available. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people find that comforting. I don't know. I get it. In an industry that can be quite intimidating, maybe it's nice to just have those bumpers on the bowling lane of life. I don't know.
I think it's worth pointing out that Sony and Canon both have Pro divisions, where Panasonic effectively doesn't anymore, and Nikon doesn't, unless you include Red cameras, which is totally similar. And I think that's why we're seeing a lot more of like, look, this is a hybrid model that has the kitchen sink thrown at it, because there's
Did you get the sense Fujifilm does? I feel like their teams are pretty close.
You can hear it in the UG interview, which we posted last week, where I was asking about any kind of segmentation in the lens design, and he specifically said, like, no, our teams are directly integrated. Now, the Eterna does have a different interface than their consumer cameras, which makes sense given,
for that.
Like the $6,000 price difference from even the highest end stills camera. That does make sense.
Yeah.
It is interesting. Maybe this conversation another time, but it is interesting just to see the difference in corporate strategy, corporate hierarchy, structure, everything, how all the different companies in Japan that are the camera-related companies in Japan operate their businesses differently, and how they operate their teams differently and stuff, and how they change. I mean, how we see some changing and modifying and evolving. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool to see that, but that's for another conversation.
All right. This is a pretty quick hit. 7 Artisans has a Z-mount lens that is now the most affordable 135 millimeter f1.8 prime.
One of my favorite focal lengths. This is great news.
The sample images look pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the bouquet. I don't hate it.
It's not a plana. The dog with the flowers looks a little overdone.
Wait, with the what does?
Like, well, I mean, they're all dog shots. There's like, I don't know.
You scroll down, there's some other stuff there too.
Yeah,
they look
heavily makeup,
heavily makeup and modified. But hey, cool,
yeah.
Cool.
It's $899.
Wow.
designed to compete directly against the Viltrox Lab 135.
Yeah.
And the Plano, which is $2,200 right now, which actually is not terrible for that lens.
So sorry, I think the Viltrox Lab AF 135, that's $800.
Oh, $899. This is $689. It's cheaper.
$689. $200 cheaper. That's wild. Yeah, it's interesting to see, like, especially like 7art as well. I mean, we have just recently played with the Thypok Voyager 24 to 50, and Thypok is basically famous for making manual focus M mount lenses. 7 Artisans, you could argue a similar thing. I mean, you know, all these companies start out making very affordable manual focus, especially 7 Artisans. They started out with like very basic optics. So it's interesting to see all these companies now getting into more mainstream autofocusing lenses. Yeah. And I would argue, air quotes, modern lens design.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be big. Like, this is what I keep saying. Like, stop giving me 1.8s and 1.4s. I mean, as sweet as that Sigma is, it's enormous. I really want a compact 135. And the last really good one was the Zeiss Batis from 10 years ago, the 135 f2.8. Let's get something a little more modern in there, gang. Let's see what we can do. I feel like, I mean, 82 mil front filters. I feel like other 135 1.8s are smaller than that.
It's pretty big.
The Viltrox was pretty big. The Sony is fairly compact, but
yeah, the Plena's kind of
way more money.
Plena's kind of big, isn't it?
Plena's big.
Yeah.
That's how you get rid of that cat's eye. You got to have a big old front element. I bet that thing would cover medium format.
It's pretty big.
All right, next thing. Sony A7 IV actually got a firmware update. Sony 2 a 2. Firmware update. Holy hell. This is Jordan's update, though, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, the most exciting thing about this is they brought out a firmware update and within 12 hours didn't have a retraction notice saying, please, please, please don't install this firmware. There's a new firmware that works coming soon. Don't do it. So that's very exciting for me.
Great progress.
Yes, massive progress. And it makes a lot of sense as well. So basically, they've got a new XLR handle out there, which was launched alongside the A7R6. Now you will have support with the A7 V for that, which, as I said in our video, I think is still a better overall hybrid camera for video shooters. So having that ability to not only strap on an XLR handle, but also get less compression on the audio is great. So that's really nice to see as well. We've got a few more manual settings for your lenses on there. And of course, new FTP support, which is always a big deal for people who are uploading their videos directly for broadcast and things like that, but nothing that we would generally touch on and not a big deal for our audience. But we also see now some support, and I love that Sony's putting this in consumer cameras for video authenticity as well. Some revisions on that. And still, Sony is the one company that's like, we want to make sure your video is authentic. So good on you, Sony, and I'm glad this firmware seems to be working. This is massive stride forward.
I did actually like this camera. I wish it had waveform. But other than that, I did actually like this camera for making videos.
Yeah, very nice camera.
Great. I've said I think it's probably the most well-rounded 4K hybrid camera on the market.
It is lacking some features, some glaring ones, I think. But if you can ignore those, it's pretty good. I hate metering with histogram, man. I hate histogram.
I've been saying this for 10 years. It sucks.
Histogram's terrible.
If I'm shooting log now with Jordan, I just meter by getting it to the point where it looks awful. And then I'm like, we're good.
Yeah. Make it look really bad.
Make it look like Sony's AI-enhanced Xperia images. And you're going to have a beautiful log result at the end of the grading
This is
process.
clearly overexposed by a stop and a third. Good. Yeah. Done. Okay.
Perfect.
Rolling.
No highlights clipping? Great. Awesome.
Action.
So, last story of the week. Chris, have you heard of this camera? So, many people would think...
So rare, even I've never heard of it.
So... Did you guys think that Foveon existed in any other system?
No idea. No.
Other than Sigma?
I thought Sigma was the only company crazy enough to do that.
They were not. Introducing Polaroid. They apparently did. And this thing is...
Wow.
Very normal looking, to be honest with you, which is weird because I'm not used to that for a Foveon camera. But yeah, apparently nearly 20 years ago, there was a limited edition Polaroid X530 that had a Foveon sensor in it.
Now, because it's Polaroid branded, who knows who actually makes it, right?
Well, back then...
No, I think Polaroid was still at that point just a name that was abused and tossed around and passed around. It was just awful. But yeah, it's so weird. The battery life must have sucked on that. Did you use double A's? Like, do you get 3 shots and then you have to throw out the double A's or something? What the heck?
Jaron, I want to review this camera. Can you make that happen?
No,
Can you get us the rarest?
No.
Snappiness is the only one who I think we would be able to even borrow one from. So you'd have to collab with him, but maybe.
What makes it rare?
There's not many of them.
Yeah, they didn't actually make many. They just aren't available.
That's I'm not a moron, obviously. I'm like, what makes it rare? Like, is it rare because 10 million were made but nobody bought them, and or is it rare there were 1,000 made?
I recall Jeremy telling me that there were very few made. Let me see if he can answer that question really quick.
They must have made thousands at least in a production launch.
I'm gonna say 400 produced. That's my guess there.
Yeah,
we over or under.
I feel like people just threw them in the garbage immediately, and that's why they never got into the used market. Everybody's like, "Oh, this is out of spite, they destroyed them."
I love that this thing still has the original stickers on there too. Those really heinous, ugly stickers, like a pink, a blue, a yellow, and a green, all on the same sticker.
That's cool, man. That the kids do that on their hats. They leave them on there, right? That's what we did back in the day. That was our cool factor. Leave the stickers on. In fact, I'm going to start making Chris Nichols edition stickers that you can put on your camera to relive the 90s and early 2000s.
But only 300 of them.
Yes, only 300 of them, and they will use Foveon sensors.
I seriously doubt you're going to do that because you specifically didn't want your name on your bag in a way that was sewn on there, so people wouldn't have
That's
to
why
look
it sold
at
out so well, because I think a lot of people agree. You buy a signature bag, you don't necessarily want someone's actual signature all over the bag. I should have put Balenciaga on the lid or something like that. That would have been
I'm sure that wouldn't have resulted in a lawsuit.
Yeah,
Jeremy has come through. He says the distributor never specifically said, as usual, but estimates by people online range from 35 to 40 total units.
Holy hell!
No, there's no reason to make that.
To just fewer than 50. Some guy on Reddit said 35 to 39, quote, officially. So make of that what you will, but I found nothing to dispute the claim. Jeremy
Were they
Gray.
$8,000 each? What the hell? $400? Oh my god!
There you go. So
Maybe
that's
they
why
just
it's rare.
brought them to trade shows, and everybody said nah, I'll pass. And they were like, actually, let's not mass produce these.
Let's not do that anyway.
Wow.
All right.
Okay. Well, I don't want to test it. Actually, I kind of do.
Yeah, you do. I knew it.
I knew it. Stupid. It's
okay.
so stupid.
Let's get to the main story. This was Jordan's idea. Jordan loves games.
Love games.
Yes.
So I'm going to share my screen. Let's see this window. We have a tier list here, ready to go. We're going to rank these things. So Jordan, give a better explanation of what this is. This came about because you guys worked in a camera store, basically, and you were told to sell stuff.
Yeah, we were talking about UV filters specifically, which is one of the classic add-on things. So we were just saying, it's very recommended in camera stores when you're buying lenses because it's a high margin item, basically. So the camera stores make a little more profit on that a lot of times than they will with the multi-$100, $1,000 lens. So that got me thinking of all the things that everyone's like, look, if you're buying a new camera, you got to get this. What are the ones that you might actually need and want, and which are the ones that you can comfortably walk away from? I mean, I'm tempted to start with the UV filter.
Okay. So we've got this. We were gonna do them ranked, and I was like, that's dumb. We're gonna do a tier list. We're gonna do what the cool kids do. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you will see we have a tiers of S, A, B, C, D. I guess we could do F. Now I didn't do an S on here. I don't even know if I can add that yet.
S is there.
F.
Is it?
Everything should go in F.
There's an S, no F. Yeah.
F. Yeah, I need an F one. I don't know how to do that. I've never used this list before.
Well, there's not going to be that many Fs, so maybe we can give them dishonorable mention at the time that this list is completed.
It'll be D minus. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can add a row below.
Oh.
This one's
It's new.
F.
You're doing it. You're doing it. Oh, good job. What color?
What color should it be?
Or dark purple?
Yeah, black's
or
good.
Purple.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to be able to see the black one, so I'll go with purple.
There
we
purple.
go. Hey, look at that. Not worthless me. Figured it out.
Good job.
Okay, so we'll start with the UV filter. And I will say the reason we brought this up and why I'm so against them, I was bamboozled recently into buying a UV filter. And it was not really, it was more like I was made to feel really bad about myself if I didn't buy one. So I feel like that's the same strategy you two would have used to sell one to me. Like if you love this,
weird.
if you really love your camera, if you really love this lens you bought, you're going to want to protect that front element. I believe that's what Jordan was saying he would say, or that he was instructed to say. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I mean, that is the classic camera store talk on that. You got to protect that super expensive front element.
Sure.
I'm going to let the internet in on a little secret there. If you put a hood on, that is actually a really effective way to
Disagree.
do it. That won't degrade your image quality.
Disagree.
So are you a proponent of the UV filter, Chris?
You know what? Like when I was selling cameras and pushing these things, the speech I gave. So first off, to give context, Jaron said he was guilted into doing it.
I was guilty.
That he felt
Bullied.
so bad for the
Strong-armed.
salesperson that, and he supports Blue Moon so much. He's like, you know what? Throw it in there, bud. Not with the intention of using it, but because he was basically
I
feeling
took that bad boy off immediately.
This guy might as well have worked for UNICEF. Okay, so. When I sold UV filters, okay, it always came down to a speech about this. Like I would say, look, it depends on how clumsy you are. It depends on how willing you are to take care of your stuff.
Not
and I would
very in
give
both
anecdotal.
cases.
I would give anecdotal for me. I mean, a hood can certainly protect physically the front element, but I will say I have lots of scratches on a lot of the front of my lenses, and it's largely. Yeah, it happens. Ask Emily, she'll agree. It largely happens because I hate putting caps back on lenses before putting them away, especially when I'm shooting on the street and I need to react quickly. I don't have time to put my stuff away nicely. I don't like to baby gear at the best of times. So I chuck that stuff in my camera bag, and sometimes, it'll land on something, a piece of metal or another lens or who knows what. As well, like we've shot in a lot of really rough environments, and people will clean their lenses. They'll blow off dust in a rush because they're trying to get a shot. You know what I mean? And you can be rubbing grains of sand into the front of your elements. Dust absolutely has an abrasive effect, even if it doesn't look like it or it's very small. It has an abrasive effect. And so, like a UV filter does make a lot of sense in that way. And I would tell people, like, look, there's no one on the planet that is going to look at your photo and say, beautiful shot. It would have been great, except you obviously used a UV filter. No, that doesn't happen. Nobody can tell, okay? So they don't degrade your image quality in any appreciable way. They will provide a cheap layer of glass in the front to protect the element from dropping. I've seen that a lot. People drop the lens, UV filter smashes, that's not your front element. Aggressive cleaning, just getting strange stuff on the front. I mean, we were shooting a 24-70 shootout way back in the day, DSLR 24-70 shootout, and we had this really cool thing set up where we shot at this guy's forge, and he's hammering iron with a hot forge, hammering stuff, sparks flying off. I got right in there with a Pentax 24-70. Was it 24-70? Maybe 28-70, and got right in there and shot, and hot steel hit the front of the element and actually chipped the front. And had I had a UV filter, that obviously wouldn't have been the case. I blame our old Pentax rep, Bill Gouge, who would show the coatings on the Pentax by putting cigarettes out on the front of the lens. And I'm like, well, surely it could take a spark. Anyways, it damaged it. And like, that's a great example of where I knew I was doing something where I was getting the lens into a pretty hairy situation. And if I had a UV filter, it would have protected it. So I really don't think they're that bad. I'm going to say UV filter is definitely a B tier, not beer tier. That would be awesome. B tier. Yeah.
I'm leaning D tier. Jordan?
You guys suck.
I also am. I think Chris's use case there is extremely niche, where someone is pounding hot metal right beside the lens. The only time I've ever wanted a UV filter is if Michael Bonacore is in front of me in an ATV spraying gravel at the front of my lens element, wrecking ND filters and an entire lens.
I was also driving, so it's you can blame us both. It's not entirely his fault. I got your back, Bonacore.
I'm a D tier man.
That fine dust and particulate, like, damaged our Olympus lens. Like, yeah, you gotta like.
So,
I don't know, I'm just saying, if you shoot extreme stuff, you should have a.
I'm going to average it and go with the
C tier.
Okay. C tier. UV
Let's
filter
make sure we
goes-
spend 15 minutes on every product.
Well, that's a
He
big
had a good
one, though.
story. He had a good story.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Jaron. Thank you.
Actually, I think what really started your mind turning on this, Jordan, was you saw in the wild a lens bag on someone's hip in Tokyo.
Yeah, it was a top load zoom, low pro top load zoom.
Yes, the low pro
I was
top load
commenting.
zoom.
I haven't seen that in ages. Like,
Yeah. So
that's-
here we go. So on our list it says camera bag, but the image I went and found a lens bag. So I think this is more likely to be the one that you would be upsold on is that top load.
Yeah, the one for that specific product, right?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
like you're investing in a system.
So do you need a lens bag?
Do we mean lens bag or camera bag?
I don't think camera bag counts. I think we're gonna go lens bag because I don't think you get upsold on a whole bag all that often. And I feel like you do actually need a camera bag. You should get one.
Sold out.
But
Yeah,
the
you should have
lens
a camera
bag, the lens bag is
Like an
very
additional
much
bag for a lens?
just the lens goes on your hip. Or in the
Nah.
case of the picture I got here, it's got like a little strap on it. What do you where do you put that on the tiers?
D tier.
Yeah, a lot of the time it comes with the lens anyways, if it's even a mid-range lens. So I'm gonna go F. You don't need it.
I would agree
Wow.
with F as well. It's a terrible purchase.
Okay. There are some situations where I would take one of these low pro lens bags, okay? Putting them in there to protect it within a camera bag is stupid. That's superfluous. But there were situations where I would sometimes want to travel light, go out on the street for a day and shoot, especially like manual focus days, and I would have a little lens pouch on my belt, and it makes you look so stupid. It's preeminently unsexy, but it would give you this place to then change your lens, take the lens off the body, swap them, and keep shooting without having to carry around like a camera bag or having to have like a big pocket or something, which is never ideal. So anyways, I don't know, D tier. I think they're useful, but in very limited situations.
Great for camcorders.
There you go.
Back when I worked at the store. Yeah, you could slip a Panasonic Handycam in there, no problem.
And look, they would have, back in the day, they would have Velcro straps and stuff. You could put them on the outside of camera bags. Like Low Pro was especially famous for this. So you could increase the storage of a smaller camera bag. That's not necessarily a useless feature.
With a really heavy accoutrement, yes, you could
Doesn't
definitely
matter.
do that. The bag empty is way too heavy. All of these Low Pro bags are not.
Yeah, I mean, you could
Light.
get started on Low Pro. I mean, they're now, what's the term? I don't remember. I can't remember. My brain's not working.
Cool.
Doesn't matter.
Next one, strap. Now, you get a strap with your camera when you purchase it, and it's got the camera brand name on there, and they're usually garbage. They're going to sell you a strap. And then because you're Chris Nichols, and I know you hate straps, Chris, I will also...
F tier. All camera neck straps, F tier.
What if this also includes like wrist straps? Like you're buying one, they're like, oh, you don't like
that's
those?
not fair.
They're
We
like,
sell
you got to
wrist
get
straps.
into a new system. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to use that crummy camera strap that comes in the box.
Yeah,
That's tough for me because obviously wrist straps will all be S tier and camera straps will all be F tier. So I don't know how you want me to rank that.
Slap
while
it in
you
the
sit
middle.
there, while you think about it, Jordan, what do you think?
I think it is quite important. Like, this is my preferred way if I'm out shooting photos and things like that. To support a camera is a wrist strap. A lot of people like neck straps. I think it's B tier.
What's wrong with the strap that comes with your camera other than that it's a neck strap?
It tends to be
bad.
really thin. It's like if it is a neck
Uncomfortable.
strap, it's uncomfortable generally.
They can't unstrap from the camera easily.
Yeah,
if you
they're
want
tough to
them
remove
ever.
they're
They're tough to put on. Most people don't know how to put
They're
them
all
back on
uncomfortable.
correctly. They're all very
Every neck strap
uncomfortable.
is useless. Yeah.
I don't know. I
F tier.
like the lemur strap. You saw my lemur strap. That was pretty cool. No, he hates it. All right. Well, I'm
From
gonna
a
go,
design standpoint, yes, but I would still throw it in the trash.
I
I don't
agree
know where you
with
guys are-
all straps, like wrist and neck. An additional one that's not sold with it. I think. What'd you say, Jordan? B?
I was thinking B tier. Yeah,
B tier seems
Yeah.
fair.
I mean,
if it's
look,
a Pentax bus strap, then of course that's S tier.
yeah,
Yes.
I will give in and say I hate the manufacturer straps because they advertise the manufacturer. I've always hated that. Like, I don't know what it, I know some people think it's cool. I really don't want to like have everybody see like, oh, that guy's carrying a Canon D90, right? Because it's straight out 5D Mark. You can see, I think it's cheesy, right?
I agree.
So you get to customize the strap. You get to change the color. You get to have a little bit of fun. It's jewelry for your camera. I totally get that.
Yeah. That's why it's
But all neck straps should be burned at the stake.
This one's great. How about a lens cleaning kit?
A tier.
Get out of here. Really?
Oh,
Well,
instantly. I'm looking at my bag right now. I try to strip everything down as minimal as possible when I'm out and about. I've got some lens spray and a wipe in that bag 100% of the time.
I
Yes.
could swear you were going to F tier this because usually they're pretty trash. But
I mean,
have
look,
fine Zeiss branded.
the
optical
kit, the actual
quality.
lens kit that you would sell, it was more than you need, right? Like,
Yeah.
and lens tissues should be for wiping bums. There's no reason to like they're a pain in the ass. But like
Rocket
microfiber
blowers,
cloth,
huge pain in the ass.
pocket
Rocket
blower takes
blower.
up too much space. That doesn't mean they're not useless, okay? But and again, if you are rubbing, like if you've got a dusty lens and you're breathing on it and wiping it with a microfiber
Scratching.
cloth, you're sanding your front element. And look, I'm not judging you because I do the same thing, and therefore I've got scratches all over the front of my lenses, okay? But it will damage your lens. So UV filter, again, if you're going to clean your lenses, UV filter is what's getting cleaned. It's a great purchase. You should do it.
can you guys agree
serious.
on a tier spot for the lens cleaning kit?
Okay, let's say this. You have to have stuff to clean your lens. A tier. Absolutely. You have to have it. T-shirts, we all do it, but it's not ideal.
This
But,
actually shocks me.
A lens spray and a microfiber cloth. We typically carry that
not
in
the
our
other
bag.
stuff.
No. And I would also throw in there a sensor cleaning stick, like the Ricoh Pentax sensor
That is
cleaning
a
stick.
very great. I
But
didn't
that's
put
not
that
on the list,
here.
is it?
Oh, is it not on? I thought
No,
that
it's not
was.
on.
I'm
I
sorry.
would be happy to add it. I can always add sensor cleaning.
No, I
stick.
think we keep it here. So it's like, should you buy additional products to clean and maintain your camera? Yes, I agree. I think you should.
Okay, A tier.
Sensor cleaning, lens cleaning, yes. 100%.
I
I
have been
also
convinced.
always have sensor cleaning stuff in my bag.
Yeah, you have
whenever
to.
we're
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
All right, next one, an extra battery.
Yeah, 100%. S tier.
Depends on the camera.
No.
No, it doesn't depend on the
DSLR,
camera.
you could probably get if it back in the day when it was like Ma and Pa grabbing their camera to shoot their kids and they get a Rebel. Now you're gonna shoot like 1,200 images on that. But nowadays with mirrorless, yeah, you need an extra battery.
By the way, these image choices that I've gotten here, these are the first things that came up when I just typed in the words on B&H. So, interestingly, Canon has a chokehold on top results.
That's why they can segment their cameras and nobody cares.
#1 market share.
Do you agree with S tier on battery, Jordan?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
S tier.
You,
Yeah,
you
everybody
can't
should have
agree
extra
with
battery.
yourself, Chris.
Oh.
All right, we've got two grips now. First, we're going to go with an alternate grip. This is not a battery grip. This is an alternate grip, and like the one you've got currently on your Leica there, Chris. It's an
Oh,
additional
like
grip
this?
for your camera. Yes, like the one I have on my X100, that sort of thing.
Small rig has really expanded this. It used to be
Yeah.
incredibly rare that you'd see that. Now I would say like maybe a third of the cameras we see out in the wild have the grip modified in some way.
Yeah.
Where do you rank it?
I go B tier. It really is camera dependent. Some cameras really benefit from an additional grip, some do not. I don't typically like an additional grip on certain cameras because I don't want it to be bigger and bulkier at all. I'm really a minimalist on that. But like on the M11, an additional grip is great. Whereas on the Panasonic L10 we were playing with, I didn't like it. I don't use it because I don't need it on there. So
Conversely, I did like it on there. I thought
sure,
it was nicer.
yeah, it's very
The
camera
thumb rest?
dependent.
The thumb rest is also nice. It's not on this
Yeah.
list, but thumb rest was nice.
I would put
count
that in
that
the
as
same
additional
kind of thing
grip.
where
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
changing the ergonomics of your camera.
It really does depend on the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. Most
I
of
was going to
like
say B tier. I'm right in league with this.
Well, we
agree
agree
with
with
B
that.
tier.
There we go.
I
There we
would
go.
lean B to A because the cameras that I like tend to need those things. But like
right.
an A7R6.
because you like dumb cameras.
Sure. An A7 an A7R6 doesn't need it as much as like an XE5 does.
No, exactly. Yeah. Who's gonna put a alternate grip on their mirrorless system camera?
All right, well then The other one is a vertical grip for the
It's a
not
good thing
square
Chris doesn't have
cameras.
strong feelings about this one.
D tier garbage. Hate
He
them.
hates them.
Stupid.
Jordan?
It's not stupid. I hate them.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like, you need to have these, I think you need to use your camera for quite a while before you decide, like, you know what? I'm using a lot of big telephotos, shooting vertical constantly. I could really use it. I don't think it's an initial purchase at all. It's like down the road if you feel like you need it. I remember my first digital camera was a Rebel. That had a very tiny grip, and because small rig wasn't in business back then, I strapped one of these giant suckers on it, making it, completely unwieldy with a small camera just to make it fit my hands. We have a better solution for that now, which is accessory grips. So this is only if you absolutely need boatloads of battery life and you prefer to shoot with that vertical release. So I would say, like, some people need it, but it's not something you should get at the time of purchase. So I'm going to say a D tier.
Yeah,
F tier.
I was honestly leaning F.
Really?
F tier.
Yeah.
Well, no, but
Let's
I'm
throw it in F. Why not?
I'm saying F because I have a bias against this, which is unfounded. Okay, like, no. I mean, look, there's legitimate benefits: extra battery life, obviously vertical shooting, heavier weight for balance. So this is really meant for sports shooters, Olympic shooters, wildlife shooters to some degree, although I think most wildlife photographers don't want the extra weight if they're hiking out there. So, it's really meant for shooting on the sidelines all day long, having the vertical grip, which does help if you're like shooting on a monopod or shooting on a like Wimberley bracket or something like that on the side of a football pitch. Then it can be very useful. Just rotate the camera. But for me personally, I hate the extra size. They're a pain in the ass in the camera bag. Batteries can be swapped out, so I don't really buy the battery life option in that regard. It's nice not to have to change, but most people have the time to stop and change. And on top of that, I don't like using a vertical grip. I still crane my hand over even if I have a vertical grip. That's always how I've done it. That's what I like to do, and I'm not going to change. So it depends on the person. But yeah, for me, F tier, but I mean, I still think it's a D tier thing. Like it's useful. I just don't like the trade-offs.
You'll find this interesting, maybe. Our friend Blair Bunting, loves the square camera format. So he likes the original, like the 1D and the D series cameras from Canon and Nikon. But he despises these vertical grips on cameras that don't have them integrated. He says that they aren't the same shape. They don't do the same thing. And he just hates them. So I disagree. I think they basically are the same. I think he just aesthetically, he thinks they look terrible, which they might.
They do.
D tier it is. All right, next one, a cable release.
F.
F.
So this is the manual cable release, not like an intervalometer, just a cable release. The ones that definitely work with every camera with a threaded shutter, right?
Yeah,
every single camera.
I think we would also count the electric ones that you would use on like Rebels and stuff like that, right? I mean, this is what we were
the
saying.
Canon RCs and stuff like that. But it's not for a creative effect like an intervalometer. This is
just firing remotely.
Trigger the camera. I mean, we give cameras a really hard time if they have a threaded release or a thread on the shutter and it won't work with a cable release. But, I've been thinking about it a little bit. And if the 2-second or 10-second timer is not going to get the job done, every camera made in the last 15 years has an app you can use to trigger your camera.
That is true.
Will also give you an unlimited length cable. These things should be left in the dustbin of history, and they are F tier, in my opinion.
I have 3 of them, but because I need them for my panoramic cameras. That's the shutter
you
mechanism.
absolutely
you
need
get a
them for
pass
your
on that.
cameras. No. So I mean, they're not F. They're D tier.
For modern cameras, Chris. For modern cameras, it's stupid.
But can you even? I mean, nah. Apps do a lot of it now, right? But apps can be a pain in the ass to set up and integrate. Like sometimes
the
nice just to be able to
10-second
plug
timer
things
or the
in.
3-second timer, the self timer, those are perfectly acceptable. I think those are better.
Yeah, but okay. So I'm lazy, so I use self timer all the time, right? To do my lens testing on the chart, to do landscapes, waterfalls, all that stuff we're doing.
Just
right?
used them.
But those
Yeah.
things aren't moving. Okay. Self-timers become absolutely useless when you're trying to use tripods to capture moving subjects. Getting light streaks at nighttime, for example, you need a cable release, okay? So that kind of stuff, no, they're still super useful.
He's the king of niche circumstances, Jordan, to rationalize.
I thought we would have one.
Well,
I was looking at this list, like there's one definite F tier. Thank goodness we can fill all the categories. And
maybe that's the lesson, is that in photography, no item is useless. They're all made for a certain context. Anyways, you know what? Because there's modern apps now, we can put in an F tier.
Folding my arms.
I've said my part.
The Nifty 50.
Yeah.
That's the next one. The answer can't be yes, Chris. It has to be tiered.
I'm thinking.
Jordan?
I'm leaning towards A tier. This was one of my big hobby horse. Is a hobby horse the right phrase? But this is something I leaned on a lot back when I was at the camera store. Like, look, you're buying a mirrorless or a DSLR camera. You're looking for that more professional look. A Nifty 50 is a great way to get it without spending a lot of money. So yeah, I think it was logically something that can give you an aesthetic that you might be trying to get without spending thousands and thousands of dollars on a fast zoom.
S tier. Yeah, S tier. Especially when we consider a lot of the kit lenses back in the day were like really slow 3.5 to 5.6s, and it let people experiment with different depth of field. It let people shoot while forcing themselves into a particular focal length. I think these are all positive things for somebody that's learning, that's beginning and learning.
They teach you photography. I think that's very valuable.
Image quality, fine, better, sure. Affordable, small. Yeah, man, Nifty 50 is great. I'm all for it. They were affordable. They're usually $150, like US probably less, 120, something like that back in the day. Yeah, 100%.
I will tell you, I bought one and did never regret that purchase.
Yeah, there you go. See? Yeah.
I think it's good. I think if you get anywhere between 35 and 50, you will probably be quite happy.
It's a gateway drug from the terms of the camera store to get you into like playing with other lenses and maybe, I want a different prime.
It works.
I want a different
it works so
Yeah,
good.
it works. Yeah. I would advocate a Nifty 50 before I'd advocate like a 55 to 250 or 70 to 300 add-on lens.
Learn how to use a prime. I think it makes you a better photographer.
There you go. All right, there you go. Look, we didn't disagree on everything.
No. LCD protector. They used to be the rage. Every Nikon DSLR had one. Do we need them now?
Fully articulating screens to the rescue.
Nah, F tier.
F tier. Jordan? F? Agree?
Yeah, I'm willing to give it an F. Yeah. And they would always clump up if you did have a swivel screen. Just clicking it in over time, they'd start to like bubble up on the sides and stuff. And then you'd have to peel it off and you'd still have residue from the first LCD protector.
Oh, you're talking like the stick-on
that
ones?
LCD protector, and customers would come into the camera store like, I'm trying to get this thing on. I've had 3 LCD protectors before. Can you please put it on perfectly smoothly on top of my LCD? And you would waste a half an hour and you wouldn't get lunch that day.
Yeah, that was an annoying add-on. The hard plastic ones were awful. I mean, they were bulky. They'd fall off all the time. You'd knock them off and stuff. They'd get like lint and stuff underneath. You have to open it up. But I could see like a professional SLR user in like a sporting event or something. Yeah, you want to protect that back screen because if you crack it, that sucks, right? But scratches, who cares? Make note that like mirrorless cameras now, like none of that's existing for them, right? It's all going to be the plastic smartphone, whatever, Gorilla Glass stick-ons, and who does that, right? Plus, you can't, if it's an articulating screen that folds away, you can't really fit them in with stuff on there anyways. Like, I don't know, yeah, F tier.
F.
Not scratches on your back element, on your back LCD are not a big deal. Scratches on your front of your lens, that can be an issue.
All right, got 4 left.
Which is why you should buy a UV filter.
You had the word hood on here, Jordan, and I'm assuming you were talking like hoodman, like the stuff.
Oh, no. I was thinking a lens hood because a lot of consumer grade lenses, or if you got a camera kit, it generally would not come with a hood.
Mm-hmm. What about a hoodman? I'll put hood back on here because that's separate.
For video users only.
Hood loops, let's bring them back. I want giant loops strapped to the back of your non-articulating LCD on the back of your 5D Mark II. We used to be a great nation, even though we're in 2 different nations. I guess we both were once great nations back when we had hoodmans, but no longer.
Wow. Yeah. No. Hood loops can burn in hell. But lens hoods are an interesting conversation because, there's nothing bad about them in any way, shape, or form from a completely academic, standpoint. You should always use them, right? They protect your lens, they prevent flare. These are all very, very good things, but they're a pain in the ass to take along with you. Who wants to bring them along? They're stupid and they're annoying, and they don't stow nicely. And you put it in your camera bag, then you put your lens in, and it jams on funny, and then they're stupid. Wow. So I don't use them, but I should. They're really good. The hood is good. We even did an episode about the hood is good.
Yeah.
B tier.
What happened?
Okay, firstly, the Hoodman's an F, right?
Yeah, Hoodman's an F.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way to dig up that image, though. I got very nostalgic.
Remember we would stick? Can you remember the dark ages where we'd stick Velcro frames on our DSLR screens and then stick this trash on the back, like with a magnified eyepiece and stuff?
What's hilarious is you could do it combined with those LCD protectors on Nikons, so you would already get like worse light transmittance, and then you have this thing on there.
But you were like Vincent Laforet. Everything was amazing.
That's my point. It wasn't photographers. Like those back screens are useless for photography. It was for videographers forced to use T2Is and 5D Mark IIIs to do their video work.
Right.
Like it's garbage, dude. Yeah. It was an awful, awful Mad Max style.
All of us walked
fix.
so you guys listening could run.
Yeah. Thank you, Jaron. You're right.
So the pedal hood, or any hood, I think
B tier.
B? I think pedal hoods, by the way, are just really ugly. But
Sure.
they're fine. They're better than no hood.
So I have an interesting experience because I use stepping rings constantly when I'm out filming.
Use them.
So I can't use a hood, and I'm always waving my damned hand above my lens, trying to cover things while Chris is doing a talking point like a dummy. So if I were just out like taking pictures, NDs weren't part of the equation, I would always, and I can actually speak to when I'm out taking pictures, basically 100% of the time I have a hood on. I think they're great. I vote A tier.
Nah.
So Jaron, you're the tiebreaker here.
A or B?
A or B?
I've purchased hoods, aftermarket hoods, and on my TX1, it came with the Fujifilm hood, and that bad boy never leaves the camera. A tier.
Attaboy.
I test lenses all the time without them, though.
Yeah, it's really good when you're testing flare, but
yeah, because they're a pain in the ass to carry out. But yeah, it's
the square ones I like. I think
but
they look good.
They become sexy.
Yeah,
they're part of the look of
the
like a
GFX 100 RF. When you use the one they include, that camera becomes even less portable because then it has a really big stick out.
Yeah.
But man, does it look good!
Yeah,
it looks so good.
Yeah.
And I have one on my 35 on my Bessa. Looks great. So there you go. All right. Flash. Any flash. This one's a Godox flash, but you can have your pick. Do you buy a speed light?
I feel like this has changed a lot in the last 5 years because the entry point used to be so high with these things. Yeah, like it was always,
I remember when the young Nuos first hit the market, and people were like, "Whoa, they could be this
an
cheap."
on-camera flash for $100? What?
I had a Photix, and my Photix was a little more expensive than a young Nuo, so it had more features, but it was still
That's a low bar.
Way cheaper than like the Canon ones.
They were what? Like a Pro Flash was like $600.
It was so expensive. I've never owned one of those, and I have never regretted the decision to go cheap.
I mean, if we're talking... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
The camera brands have also basically seeded that market. Most of them just like, you know what, whatever.
Yeah, they're like, we do offer it. But it might actually be a dead link on the website. Like they have it for like compatible accessories, but no one's ever clicked it and ordered it.
You have to think, Nikon must have sold thousands, hundreds of thousands of
because they had a really good
SB900s.
system.
Yeah, the
really
CLS system was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really good.
I was on a recent press trip and saw the that I can't talk about, and saw the new little Godox 60s, which can work as a slave or a receiver, and they're like $80 a pop. Like you could build a 3-light setup. And then the little Westcott super compact manual ones. Like you can learn so much about lighting without investing in big bulky stuff. I think it's pretty cool now.
Yeah, it's funny though because it's like Flash is at its most exciting right now. As you say, the costs are low, power's high, lots of cool effects, easy to do multiple Flash setups, and yet I feel like less and less people are using them. I think a big part of that is people were using flash for a lot of situations just to handle dynamic range, to help reduce dynamic range needs. And now that our sensors have gotten so good, that's basically become a moot point in a lot of cases.
Now you're doing it for the look.
Yeah. You can crank your ISO high and it doesn't matter, right? Whereas before, if you went above 3200, your photo sucked, right? So photo was it was a legitimate, necessary source of light, right? Now we don't need that.
Yeah.
So it still is absolutely valuable creatively for the reasons it's always been, giving you a light source that you can shape, change the color of, modify. But regardless, flash is a little tricky to learn. You have to learn how to balance your ambient exposure and your flash exposure, or how to calibrate them separately for creative effect. You need to learn about diffusion. You need to learn about bouncing. You need to learn about directionality, wireless flash setups. There's a lot to it for sure. Remember when Joe McNally books were just like the thing, right? You just like, oh man, you go on a beach, take a picture of a model on a beach and the background's like dark and the sunset's brilliant and then they're lit up so nicely and they probably have like a hula skirt on and there's spinning fire and stuff like that, right? But
clarity and saturation all the way up.
Yeah, and sharpness too, right? Like your lens sharpness is ideal with a flash because it's such a fast equivalent shutter speed, so to speak. So yeah, man, flash is still super cool. I feel like people are too lazy to use it nowadays, whereas before they were too scared, now they're too lazy. But I still think they're great. We use studio flashes a lot for our lens testing and stuff. So I think a flash should be, back in the day, I would say flashes were like B tier, A tier. Nowadays, as an add-on for sales, maybe like C tier.
I'm not comfortable recommending them as an add-on. The original thing you purchase your camera, get a flash with it. I think you need to decide if you're actually going to need that flash.
That's a good point. You should never buy a flash right off the bat with your
So that's why to me falls to D tier. Like you don't buy this.
No. They're super useful though.
They are super useful, but I would never use one.
Yeah, but I don't think you should buy an accessory grip right alongside your camera the first time, but it's in B tier. I don't think you should buy camera strap ever. And it's
so Jordan, I'm at D, Chris is at C. Where are you?
Yeah, so I always say to photographers, like, how do you set yourself apart these days? Flash is one of the easiest ways because no one knows how to use it, and it's super affordable now. I'm gonna join Chris in the C tier here.
Next to the UV filter. Boy, C tier is just things Jaron hates.
No, C tier stands for Chris tier because these are things that Chris loves.
Oh, well, then I want to move that to B tier.
The last two, first one, a rain cover.
No. Just buy another camera. Just buy another camera when it breaks.
What if you live in Costa Rica?
F tier.
It won't help. It's the humidity that really gets you.
The key is that the shower cap is S tier, man. That thing was amazing in Alaska.
The shower cap.
I could hide underneath this giant shower cap with a huge camera.
In there.
Oh, I was dripping. It was gross. Yeah, but the lens was still poking out the front.
No,
but
this
then
is
the
a
LCD
dedicated range cover.
Got all juicy.
Dedicated rain cover. Yeah, that's F, right?
All right. Yeah. Well, no. Well, it depends on the camera because, like, in Alaska, we were using the Eterna, which has the waterproofing of like a loofah sponge, and you had to physically protect it, right? But the
shower cap is a better choice. The shower cap is better than a dedicated rain cover from like the one I have here is a Think Tank rain cover made out of plastic.
We had dedicated rain bags at setup in Portland, and we left them.
Yeah, we left them. Yeah,
because we were like, the rain bag's going to work better.
Nah, that's just that particular use case. I think these are great. Again, sideline pitch, wildlife photographers, these were absolutely important. But cameras
are also way better weather sealed than they used to be. Remember,
that's true.
5D2s had no weather sealing, and it was like a super expensive camera. But now, like $1,000 cameras are largely weather sealed.
I mean, I don't use them personally, so I shouldn't really speak to it. So you guys put it wherever you want.
He just loves to be like the contrarian in the room.
I'm just smarter than both of you, but that's fine. You put it where you want to put it.
I can't contest that. Last one, the extended warranty.
Is that what that sign is for? Useless. Stupid. What an awful... I feel dirty for even selling those. Our boss said you have to. Because it's pure profit. And yeah, like the amount of claims that came back was very minimal because cameras usually survive longer.
Is that true, Jordan? It's an F?
I think it's an F. Like we didn't get a ton of stuff coming back. Like this is under service, but don't worry, there's an extended warranty. But even sometimes there was like a back and forth process and things like that with it.
That's awful.
And also like the 1 year warranty is a little less common because I believe Fujifilm is doing 2. Nikon I know is still doing 2. 5 on glass. Tamron's doing like 7 years or some madness. I'd have to double check that.
High.
But
yeah, it's crazy. Tamron's is very good.
Now the extended warranties would cover accidental damage, like you drop the thing and smash it, right? But you had to be able to recover it. So if your camera lens went to the bottom of the ocean, you're done. If it got stolen, which was very common, you're not going to get anything, right? You had to be able, if you dropped it off a cliff, you'd have to go down that cliff, find the destroyed chassis to bring it in. Otherwise, of course, we couldn't honor it, right? So that there was always extraneous circumstances that voided it a lot of the time. Yeah, as Jordan says, like the warranties the manufacturers put on were long lasting. Yeah, man, it was a pure profit gimmick.
I love that
with very little use.
The requirement was you needed to have the serial number. So like if your camera gets hit by a train and you have like the lens mount still or something, nope, you're going back on those train tracks to find the serial number.
Serial number, yeah. Look, I do remember 2 or 3 times where a customer came in and like, oh man, I destroyed my camera. What do I do? And then we looked like, oh, damn, you got the extended warranty. You're all right. Like, don't worry about it, right? And they were so happy. Like you couldn't imagine the joy. But that's a very minor payoff for an otherwise big expense. So yeah. Trash, garbage, don't do it. I don't know about like Amazon now and like Best Buy and stuff. They do their little like $20 extended whatevers on headphones and stuff. Maybe those are more useful because those are easy to break, but I don't know, man. Cameras, no, don't do it.
All right. Final tier list is actually pretty balanced. S tier, battery and a nifty 50. Yes. A tier, cleaning supplies for your lens or camera and a lens hood. B tier, straps and a optional grip.
Yeah.
C tier, UV protector and a speed light.
Yeah.
D tier, the lens bag and a battery grip.
Yeah, that's where they belong.
F tier, the remote cable release manual ones, LCD protectors, hoodmans, rain covers, and insurance.
Extended warranty. So a lot of bad products. Otherwise very balanced, except there's a lot of trash out there.
All of these will be attempted to be foisted upon you should you purchase a new camera at a store. Now you know which ones you actually need.
I hope you all.
We are going to be pilloried in the comments. I'm looking forward to that.
Pilloried is a spectacular word. That is a 10 out of 10 vocab word.
Maybe you. I think I'm going to be vindicated, but we'll see.
I'm making that my word of the year 2026.
Pilloried. I like that one a lot. All right. Quickly, what have you been up to, Jordan? You owe me a story.
Okay, so Jaron, I popped up on my little webcam. He said, "What's up with your face?" If you've watched this far, you have already commented, "What's up with Jordan's face? Does he have some sort of terrifying STI?"
I just asked him if he got hit in the face.
Are you talking about your lip?
Yeah, his lip. Yeah.
Oh, I barely noticed it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, my lighting's exceptional. Yeah, basically, I have a lip pimple. I know you're all going to talk about it. It won't go away. I have to record pieces to camera this week so you can see it develop and flourish and rescind over the course of the next few episodes. That's what's going on with me, and it is occupying about 86% of my waking thoughts.
Wow.
That's a lot.
I look forward to shooting today.
It hurts, man. This is a painful place. And do I want to eat a bagel right now? I don't know. It'll be uncomfortable. It sucks.
Does Ev have any concealer you can use to cover that up?
She talked about it before, but I'm concerned, like, if I, do that during the course. Now I've got, like, makeup streak combined with grossness. But no, to her credit, she was like, "Can I help you with your face faults?" So, yeah, she's the best.
Wow.
Unlike my face, which is not the best. You know what? Jordan's face, D tier.
Jeez. It's very hard on yourself there, buddy. I'll go next. Yesterday was Memorial Day here in the United States, and so it is. You're contractually obligated. It's right next to your birth certificate. You also have to sign that you will barbecue on Memorial Day.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Regardless of weather.
Your steaks look so good.
So I did find some prime steaks at Costco tomahawk steaks.
Yeah.
And while they were expensive, they weren't like crazy because these were big. And I was like,
those are beautiful.
I think I can eat these over the course of multiple meals.
Oh.
And so I did get them, and I dried them first for 24 hours in the fridge, and then I used my immersion circulator to get them to the perfect temperature, and then I hit those boys with my Binchotan and gave them some hard crust on there. They were great. It was great.
Looked really good.
I ate
That was on
Max,
Instagram, right?
Yeah, just a quick 3-seconder. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I've been
I
up
fully
to.
support cultural appropriation when it comes to tomahawk steaks. I think that's a great thing to do. Those look so good. And yummy.
So, there you
I
go.
was jealous.
What have you been up to, Chris? Besides adjusting to the time zone again.
Yeah, which has been rough.
Me too, man. This is hardest
This
I've ever
has
had.
been a weird one.
I didn't sleep
was
well
still
last night
struggling.
again.
No, I didn't. I was telling Evelyn the aforementioned lip concealer offer that I'm still not flipping over. I was up at 3 again.
I was up at 3 too.
What have I been?
We should have started. We should have
to?
texted.
I was
I haven't done anything
Jaron some
exciting. My whole life here, apart from traveling to Japan, both ends, bookending a travel to Japan has been finishing the backyard. So like built a pergola before I went to Japan. Now I'm like seeding things for the garden, planting tomatoes, finished my gates on the deck on both ends. So it's just been a lot of, I'm making the outdoor nice so that
Erin
my
was
wife and
bragging
daughter-
for you. She didn't give you any credit for it, by the way. It was on Instagram.
she
but
did.
She
knows.
said she sat there and said, "This is
said,
my
"Look
view
what
for the
I
rest."
did.
Yeah, she just
Well,
sat
she
there and
takes
was like,
she
took a
takes full
picture.
ownership for it. Yes, absolutely.
She did not mention at all that you had done all that work in this picture, by the way.
Yeah,
she
she
was like,
knows.
"Look at my awesome view for the rest of summer." And I'm like, I know who was responsible for that view. That's Chris Nichols.
That's what a good husband does. Thankless job, but you know.
Oh, man. All right.
She thanked me. She thanked me in her own way.
God, that was weird. Since I'm the only one who cares about tech support, let's try and
care about tech support. God
I just
damn it.
did that to mess with you, Chris, because you said it last week.
What do we have? 40 seconds for tech support? I hate this.
So we're gonna do one from Nick Coyle. It was an email.
And that's time.
No.
Hey guys, I've been mulling over this for a bit, and I was curious if there's a fun discussion or insider insights about this topic to be had on the podcast. From a photography point of view, why don't the major camera companies manufacture more lenses with clickable aperture rings or custom rings on their native lenses? For example, the Nikon ZF is begging to have this feature, at least on the smaller, short, normal focal length primes. Also, specifically in regard to Nikon compared to Canon and Sony, Nikon often gets criticized for not having the ability to change the exposure triangle with 3 different wheel controls on their bodies. An aperture ring and possible firmware update to control ISO by one of the body dials is a way to counter these critiques. To complain further, we love complaining here, Canon not having clickable aperture rings on their newest L lenses is a crime.
Yeah.
Don't even
is
get me
crime.
started on the ring not being usable on older camera bodies. Yeah,
Even
man.
bigger crime.
Jesus.
Yeah, even bigger crime. Yeah.
And while Nikon made positive moves in this direction with making their newest 24-70 f2.82 with a clickable custom ring, why not add the aperture engravings? I get that's probably for customization purposes, but come on.
You're right.
Furthermore, I don't doubt that some of Fujifilm's appeal with their XT line of cameras comes from these manual controls on their lenses as well. With the advent of vintage-style digital cameras and resurgence of film undoubtedly influencing that trend, the market seems ripe to return to lenses. Lastly, if my memory is correct, clickable aperture rings were always a feature on older film lenses, at least in the prosumer to professional markets. Why did they stop? Overall, the ability to declick the aperture rings, it can't be that much more costly to manufacture in the design of the lenses, right? Long story short, in your esteemed opinions, oh God, esteemed, why do you think camera companies skimp on this feature in their lenses? Do you think it will ever come back or just be a random feature here or there? Thanks for the time and consideration for possible discussion. As always, love your work and everything you do. Warmest regards, Nicholas.
That's a tough one. Yeah, your complaints are not unfounded. The reason why old lenses had manual aperture rings is because they were mechanically linked. I mean, it was a necessity, right? You know, with electric lenses, we don't need to do that. We can control it through the body. But yeah, the industry has become like the wild, wild west where there's so many different ways of controlling your camera. It's not just the lenses either, it's the bodies too, because some bodies do have lots of rings and dials, some don't. There are situations where adding an aperture ring has absolutely changed the ergonomic handling of a camera and made it far more useful. You know, mean, just the 40mm Panasonic is a great recent example where the 40mm f2 on the S9 dramatically changed the handling just by having an aperture ring. But yeah, it's not so much that I think they're chintzing out. A lot of the times, the lenses don't have the space physically to accommodate it, and still have other stuff. Or it really comes down to like handling. They want every lens manufacturer has different ideas on like who this lens is for. Will beginners care? Will pros care? Who's going to use it? Customizable rings are a great step in the right direction. But yeah, it makes sense they wouldn't have apertures on there because you could use it for anything. But yeah, man, it's really just a mishmash. Fujifilm's an example of a company, I think, where they had a very direct and strong design aesthetic that they were going to hold to on a lot of their products. That doesn't mean they do it 100%, but for the most part, they're like, our lenses should, by and large, have aperture rings, right? And like, our cameras should have a certain amount of dials. But even then, you have variation. It's all about intention, who the camera's for, will it be appreciated? And that means that we live in a wild, chaotic maelstrom of ringage.
I have a couple things there. So I do think the Fujifilm is based on the design idea that on their higher end cameras, you can tell your exposure without powering the camera up. You can see your ISO, your shutter speed, and on the lens, your aperture is indexed for you. I think that's part of why we're seeing those primarily on Fujifilm lenses. If I had an X-T5, I would want an aperture ring on there for that exact reason. That being said, I've found largely I really don't need an indexed aperture ring when I'm out shooting. I am totally happy to have a customized control ring. With click stops, I really like having click stops with aperture so you can feel if a setting's been changed. And we singled Canon out as someone doing it wrong, but in a lot of ways I like what they're doing. All of those lenses that have a stepless aperture ring on them for video also have a stepped unmarked ring. So if you prefer clicky stops, just set your aperture to that, and ignore the stepless iris that you're never going to want for photography.
Now, that's off. As a photographer, I've got a ring on there that has apertures on it, but I have to use the other custom ring for apertures instead. That's terrible. Terrible idea. They could have fixed it with a tiny switch. Anyways, but I get what you're saying otherwise.
All right. That's all the time we have for there.
What?
I know. I'm sorry.
Am I the only one that advocates for the users and their questions? God.
No.
Yep.
I am. Yes, I am. I'm the only one.
Next week we will have more time, I hope. We'll be. I'll get to that in a second. But before we do that, feel good story of the week. Our boy Gordon Lang put together a really nice video about the RD1 on his Dino Bytes channel. And I have a somewhat selfish reason for bringing this attention up. He's like, wait a minute. Jaron has a Bessa. I know no one else who has one. And this camera was designed with the Bessa's body, basically, and slightly adjusted. So he asked me to record some footage of my Bessa for him. And so that makes an appearance in his video. Hopefully it was helpful for those who wanted to get a view of it. But anyway, this is a great video.
If you can't get enough of Jaron's hands, go check out Gordon Lang's video for some extra Jaron Fingy action.
And you can see my Bessa. Yeah, the RD1 is super sweet. The Bessa is also super sweet. And I think you guys should check that out. It's a really good video. Gordon does great work.
Bessa under an Epson brand name for no good reason whatsoever, but it had really nice controls.
Yeah, Gordon brings that up. He thinks that having the Epson name on there hurt this camera.
Probably. It was a weird thing. It was such a weird thing.
There's also been, there were a whole bunch of RD1 videos like 10 years ago when we did ours. There haven't been many recently. So I think it's cool to get, again, kind of a fresh look at it now that we're seeing this resurgence in interest in small cameras.
Why no other brand, and I've said this before, and I know we have to go, but why no other brand on the planet has ever decided to make an alternative digital rangefinder like this still blows my mind.
I think you're right. China will eventually do
Pixie, yeah, but come on, man. Like, there should be tons of these. It's weird that Leica has had basically unfettered access to the digital rangefinder market for this many years, and nobody else has attempted to do it when proof of concept was right there, and this was like 22 years ago, right? Like, it's not rocket science.
It beat Leica to the digital rangefinder. Like,
yeah, and it's a cool camera, right? Like, why has nobody? It blows my mind. So these Chinese manufacturers are making all the lenses for it. I don't know why they're not making rangefinders. No one's going to convince me that optical rangefinders are hard technology to recreate. Seriously, people, we were doing it since like the dawn of photography. So,
I know this is a quick aside, but of the companies that are making cameras today, who could theoretically remake one of these with relative ease? I know Fujifilm has made rangefinders before. I own a Fujifilm rangefinder camera, so there's one. Who else has made one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. The actual unit doesn't matter for film or digital. It's all Pentax.
Well, technically, every company
Canon,
made
Nikon.
rangefinders back in the day. They all did. Every single one of them. I mean, that was the thing, right? Plus, like 50,000 German companies and a few Russian ones, and like everybody and their dog made rangefinders. So making it digital, that's the difference. But I mean, it's not hard to do.
The whole top unit with the rangefinder in it is all manual anyway. So there's not moving to digital.
And the RD1 is a great example of how you can modify a film version rangefinder into a digital body.
And to have a winder that actually does something and is cool.
Dude,
feels
it's so
great.
much fun. It's so much fun from a tactile
You should make a signature Chris Nichols rangefinder and produce 300 of them.
100%. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. As far as a company that could do it nowadays, like who should do it? I don't know, Mint maybe, or I mean, any of the big like 7 artisans could do it, TT artisans could do it, Viltrox could do it.
The issue is access to sensors. So
Typok could do it. Yeah.
I think you have to go with a company that actually can get sensors.
Yeah.
Anyway, looking forward to hearing your thoughts, folks.
Yeah.
Next week we'll be back in person. We're going to Hotlanta.
Like together.
Yeah.
Yes. Us three together like this, intermeshed.
We'll be in Hotlanta. At KEH, we're going to go talk about used cameras and lenses, old stuff.
Maybe I'll play with an Epson RD1. We'll see what they have.
So as a bit of a precursor, KEH has a like camera vault, a rare camera and lens vault. You can't buy anything in there, but it's just like their museum. They're going to let Chris pick something out of there, and we're going to make an episode out of it. We don't know what's in that vault. I've asked them not to tell us, so Chris is going to go in blind, and we're going to figure out what he's going to do. But next week, if you got questions about used gear at all, like you'd like us to ask, please put them in the comments below. We'll include those and make sure, because we're going to talk to folks over there. Oh, my God, Chris.
Look at that. They're probably going to force me to use a camera strap. Is the problem, which I will have to.
Like flashes of that swinging and going straight into the lens of your camera, so you destroy both lenses, both the cameras. Yeah, there you go. All right, thanks, folks, for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week, live and in person. Not live, but in person. Also, if you're in Atlanta, we're doing a Beers and Cameras event. Check out our Instagram for details. Go to KEH's Instagram for details. Come see us. Come hang out.
Yeah.
We don't do these very often, so
all the Leica users can come punch me in the face.
Bye.